All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kadesh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Alright, this is Second Ezra chapter 9, verses 1 through 5. He answered me and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. When thou seest parts of the signs pass which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is in this very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, thou shalt well understand that the Most High spoke of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For as all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest.
Led to violent clashes in Rome this weekend, including the arrest of several far-right extremists. CBS's Chris Livesay is there.
Violence over the vaccine in the heart of Rome. What started off as a restless yet peaceful protest sparked a tinderbox as demonstrators stormed the headquarters of Italy's biggest trade union. Some were neo-fascists. As they marched toward the prime minister's office, police fired water cannons and tear gas. All of it for freedom. They shout, freedom from a national vaccine mandate. Starting next weekend, Italians are required to show proof of vaccination, recovery, or a negative COVID test in order to enter the workplace, the strictest such law in the world. I consider this to be a criminal and cowardly blackmail by our highest institutions, says Maria. There will finally be a revolution in Italy, says Carolina. We won't go to work. Impassioned but minority voices. Polls show most Italians believe the new rules help ensure the hell of last year never happens again, when they ran out of space to bury the dead. The violence even created a security incident for U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, here for a summit with parliamentary leaders. She was at a Rome church when the commotion outside led bodyguards to escort her to safety. Jerika?
Chris Livesay, thank you.
Let's go help people customize and save with Liberty Mutual. Okay, who sat at my desk?
Alright, as you can see, the protests overseas over them strict new laws, all that is headed to America soon. Alright, this is Second Ezra, 15th chapter, started at the 14th verse. Woe to the word and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draw near. And one people should stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. For there should be sedition among men, and invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their actions should stand in their power. A man should desire to go into a city, and should not be able. For because of their pride, the city should be troubled, the houses should be destroyed, and men should be afraid. A man should have no pity upon his neighbor, but should destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. Psalms chapter 10, verse 4. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after Yahweh. Yahweh is not in all his thoughts. 7th verse. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and pride, and under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Alright, now to be considered fully, you know what? This is what they're saying now.
Government was going to require the pass for even outdoor dining terraces, but the pushback over the past couple of months has caused them to scrap those plans. Israel sparked widespread protest after the country announced their third booster shot is required for their green pass to be valid. In order to be considered fully vaccinated and allowed into most indoor venues, Israelis must show proof of 3 shots or show proof of 2 doses within the past 6 months. Once 6 months have passed from the second dose, a person must get the third or their pass becomes inactivated.
Let's fight like demons.
Matthew, the 12th chapter, the 25th verse. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself should not stand. And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself, and how should his kingdom stand?
But a great many American workers, both those who have been vaccinated and those who haven't had the vaccine, are standing up against the president's decision. These protests coming as the top infectious disease expert in the United States says unvaccinated Americans should get the shots to prevent what he thinks could be a possible fifth wave if they don't. Shinya and reports.
Our body, our choice. A popular slogan used by hundreds of U.S. workers over the Biden administration's push to enforce vaccine mandates. On Friday, some 200 employees from aerospace company Boeing staged a protest over its plans to require workers to get vaccine shots. Boeing said earlier in the week that 125,000 of its employees must be vaccinated by December 8th, citing President Joe Biden's executive order that requires federal contractors to be vaccinated. In September, the Biden administration directed the Occupational Safety and Health Administration to issue a rule requiring private companies with 100 or more workers to vaccinate their staff or test those who aren't vaccinated at least once a week. The U.S. Labor Department on Tuesday submitted the initial text of Biden's vaccine mandate plan. If it's passed, it will apply to more than 130,000 businesses. Americans who are against vaccinations have been showing their disapproval, and the state governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, has decided to block businesses from requiring inoculations or doing regular tests on the unvaccinated. To that, the country's top infectious disease health expert, Anthony Fauci, said the governor's decision was really unfortunate. While speaking to Fox News on Sunday, Fauci said that data clearly shows vaccination is key to fighting off the virus.
That is really unfortunate because we know how effective vaccines are in preventing not only illness for the individual, but for diminishing the dynamics of the infection in society.
He added that the pandemic will only be contained if the unvaccinated get on board.
We still have approximately 66 million people who are eligible to be vaccinated who are not vaccinated. The degree to which we continue to come down in that slope will depend on how well we do about getting more people vaccinated.
As of Sunday morning, the U.S. has given
overnight a shot across the bow in the culture wars over the COVID vaccine. Texas Governor Greg Abbott issuing an executive order banning all state entities, including private businesses, from requiring vaccination from anyone who objects based on a religious belief or for medical reasons, including prior recovery from COVID-19. Abbott adding the COVID-19 vaccine is safe, effective, and our best defense against the virus, but should remain voluntary and never forced. The country is at a crucial point in the fight against the virus, with cases declining in areas where vaccinations are high, but that trend requiring the rest of the country get vaccinated. A staggering 67 million who were eligible to be inoculated still refuse to do so.
There is light at the end of the tunnel, but we're still losing upwards of 10,000 Americans plus every week.
It comes as those Americans who are vaccinated now wondering if they need another shot. With nearly 8 million Americans having already received their booster shot from Pfizer, at the end of this week, the FDA could begin to clear the way for the first Moderna and Johnson & Johnson boosters. A federal safety panel set to meet Thursday and Friday in what will be another closely watched hearing.
We're at that critical point, October 19th, where a majority of the country has been vaccinated for at least 6 months, and that's the sweet time period of when we would see breakthrough infections.
Many experts believe boosters for some will be green-lighted as they were for Pfizer when older Americans and those at higher risk were cleared for a third dose. The FDA will also hear more on the effectiveness of mixing different vaccines to boost immunity. This morning, as the U.S. continues to suffer devastating setbacks, our nation is also taking steps forward in the battle against COVID. While officials are still working to convince millions more to get the jab, there is some optimism related to the level of vaccinations among those 18 and older, with nearly 80% having already received one dose and 68% fully vaccinated so far. And Hoda, we should mention in Texas, 52% of those who are eligible to be vaccinated are. Hoda?
All right, Miguel Almaguer for us in LA. Miguel, thank you.